The miracle of true love. Once there was a poor man named John, who was married to a beautiful woman named Emily. John and Emily loved each other deeply and never fought. They were very happy in their simple life. But they had a rich neighbor named James, who was handsome and wealthy. One day, James saw Emily and fell in love with her. He thought, I want to marry her. Every day, when John was out working in the fields, James would visit Emily. You are such a beautiful woman, he said. But your clothes are so old. Doesn't your husband love you? If he did, he would buy you new pretty clothes. Divorce him and marry me, and I will buy you the finest clothes, better than anyone else in the village. At first, Emily didn't listen to James, but he kept visiting her every day and repeating the same thing. Eventually, she began to wonder, maybe he's right. Why doesn't my husband buy me new clothes? Does he really love me? One evening, Emily said to John, Look at me, husband. My clothes are so old and ugly. I want new clothes. Can you buy me some new ones? John smiled and said, You are the most beautiful woman in the world to me. You don't need new clothes. But Emily was upset. Don't you love me? She asked. If you loved me, you would buy me a new dress. John wanted to please his wife, so he thought, I don't have much money, but I can't let her feel unhappy. The next day, he went to the market and bought a new dress for her. When he gave it to Emily, she smiled and thanked him. The next time James visited, he saw Emily wearing her new dress. You see, she said, my husband loves me very much. He bought me this beautiful dress. But James wasn't satisfied. A good husband doesn't just give clothes, he said. He gives gold, too. Wear your gold rings and necklace. Divorce your husband and marry me. I'll give you all the gold you could ever want. Emily didn't listen. I love my husband, and he loves me, she said. Now please leave me alone. But James didn't give up. He came every day with his gold jewelry and told Emily that she deserved more. Finally, Emily started to doubt again. Why doesn't John buy me gold? Does he really love me? One day, she didn't cook dinner for John. When he came home, tired and hungry, she said, There's no dinner tonight. You don't love me enough to buy me gold jewelry. John was surprised and said, But my dear, I love you more than anything. I bought you new clothes, didn't I? Why do you want gold? Emily replied, A real man who loves his wife buys her gold, not just clothes. Worried, John thought, I've already spent money on her dress. I don't have enough for gold, but I want her to be happy. The next day, he went to his brother and asked to borrow money to buy gold for Emily. In exchange, he promised to work in his brother's field to pay him back. John's brother agreed, and John bought gold jewelry for Emily. She was so happy and said, Thank you, my dear husband. Now I know you really love me. The next day, John went early to work in the field. Emily thought, I will make a wonderful dinner for my husband. He works so hard for me. But then James came again. Did your husband make a miracle for you yet? He asked. Emily replied, What do you mean by a miracle? James smiled and said, If your husband truly loves you, he can make miracles for you. A man in love can do anything for his wife. If you love me, I will make miracles for you. Emily wasn't sure what to think. The next day, when John came home tired, Sarah said, You don't love me enough. I want a miracle. John was shocked. A miracle? I can't do miracles, he said. Why do you want a miracle? Emily explained, Our neighbor says a man who loves his wife makes miracles. If you loved me, you would make a miracle. John was deeply worried. He thought, What can I do? I don't want to lose my wife to James. I must do something. The next day, John went to work in his brother's field and prayed, Oh Lord, please help me. I love my wife, and I don't want to lose her." As he worked, a wizard appeared and gave John 2 sticks. "These sticks can make miracles," the wizard said. "If you touch someone with the first stick, they will turn into a donkey. If you touch them with the second stick, they will return to normal." John smiled. "I can use this to punish James." He ran home and told Emily, "I'm going to make a miracle for you." He touched her with the first stick, and she turned into a donkey. Then, he touched her with the second stick, and she became a woman again. Emily was amazed. "How did you do that?" she asked. "I prayed to God, and he helped me," John said. "Now I'm going to punish our neighbor." He gave Emily the first stick and said, "Touch James with this stick." The next day, when James came to Emily's house, he asked, "Has your husband made a miracle yet?" "Yes," Emily said, and touched him with the first stick. At once, James turned into a donkey. Emily led him to the field where John was working. John laughed and said, "Now you can work for me." For many years, the donkey helped John in the field. He carried heavy loads and worked hard. Slowly, John's life improved, and he became richer. One day, the donkey was old and tired. John felt sorry for it, so he used the second stick to turn James back into a man. But James was no longer young and handsome. He was old and tired. John said, "You tried to take my wife from me. Now go away and never return." James left, and the poor man and his wife lived happily ever after.